Contraction creates.
Yo. 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 Yo.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's David Palmer, Leo King, and this is my weekly show, In the Eye of the Vulgar. Hope everybody's been doing wonderful. I just, of course, was gone for the last couple weeks because I became a father, and Sophia had our little baby girl, Aurora, so thanks so much for all the support, all the love. And this week, this episode's about, is it as scary as it looks? Now, I know it looks scary, but I want to tell everybody, number one, whenever we get to these really weird times. Now, this is different because what you've lived your life as, if you're watching this video, you've never seen, whether it's the astrology get to these weird aspects, but also it's the awareness of the weirdness, what we're seeing with the planets, what we're seeing in the weirdness of the shifting of coming to the end of an age. And just like any movie, there's a major climax point, especially near the end of the movie. That's why you're hearing so many people talk about end times right now. And it gets amplified a lot. And then people start grabbing on to whatever that they can. Especially, let's say, if I was out in a boat right now, it was sinking. Guess what? It's going to feel like it's the end of the world because you can't see a lifeboat anywhere. Or, I don't know why I've been getting this lately, but it was last night when I was recording Full Disclosure with Natalie. I was being channeled about Waterworld, and I love that movie so much. You know, to some that's like, I can't be in the water, I can't swim, I can't do anything. But until you actually try in life, and I don't even like the word try because it's like, until you just do it, you're gonna be fine. So number one is, the way that we've seen the world, especially as I was driving today, and I was just looking at people walking on the street, cars going on lights. We're used to this system. Systems fall and new ones come out. They all run. You have a system. I'm sure your whole body system has had its moments where it's like, okay, I'm done drinking coffee every morning at 6 a.m. Maybe some of you don't. But at the end of the day, there is an end to all systems. There's an end to all things. And it doesn't mean that it's the full end. Now, a lot of the work that I've been doing with prophecy has been showing that we're trying to get to finally the point to where we can actually start to have our awareness go to a place that is weird. To get out of the bubble that we've been in, it's scary. I just watched my child be born, and that is a extreme experience. It's the same for the birth of the higher realms of consciousness that we're going through right now. And when we go through that birthing process, it's like being in labor. Now, I just went through all this, of course not me literally. Trust me, I'm not a birthing person. But I am somebody who, I am a father. Sophia is the greatest life partner I could ever have, and to watch her give that birth, but to also go through that labor, go through that element where something takes over that no matter what you do as a human being, there's a natural process of how it all works and pushes that baby out. And as it's sitting in that birth canal, you have to look at, that's where we're at. We're in the birth canal. Now, a lot of people want to associate, oh, new earth or new world, and then as if it's like already there. We have to go create it. The only way that you create something new is when there's an end to something. So there was the end of my time and Sophia's time where it was like we were done not being parents. We were ready to become parents. So then there's the process of creating it. Now, it's interesting when we talk about galactic astrology. I talk about it a lot, especially if you've been watching me for a long time on YouTube or High Vibe, but I really haven't been getting too much in there because it's almost like when you start giving people too much info, they get too taken away, and it can take you to anxiety. It can take you to all these different places where you're like, okay, this is a little bit too much. But especially, it reminds me of the days when I had so much anxiety, especially doing LSD. I was just like, oh my God, like just being on the beach was too much. Because you're overwhelmed with how much information's going on. Well, the same thing goes as if you were to, I want you to visualize for a second being out in our solar system. And then I want to have you visualize being in our Milky Way galaxy. And then I want to have you visualize, whoa, okay, there's a multiverse and there's all these different galaxies or universes. And how far does that go? Well, that's one egg, let's say. We're birthing a doorway here that's allowing us to see another place that can shift. Now, this is where timelines get in, but I gotta say, if you look at all the astrology that we're in with all the retrogrades that are here in 2023, especially that's coming up here at the end of August, September, and October of 2023, it is like there are all these other frequencies that are timelines all smashing in, and it's always in the same place. So even though it can feel so far out there in the universe, the truth is there's all these other aspects and timelines, and I'm sure you already know this, that are happening right here, right now. I could be sitting right here, right now, and there might have been somebody in 1847 or 48 right here. And it could be happening right now. And then there could be some other type of consciousness that's embodied in a different form right here, right now. It's hard because what we're seeing is everything contracting. Now, it's kind of funny because I wasn't able to get this download until I was literally in labor and delivery and understanding more through our OB about the understanding of contractions in labor to be able to birth a child. That naturally the uterus is going to contract, and it creates so many contractions. And so what we're seeing with the sun, what we're seeing with all the galaxy aspects, where we're seeing micronova possibilities with our own sun, are contractions. You're seeing Mars speed up. You're seeing all these elements that are the birth contractions of not only a new system, a new universe, but a new way that things are going to go. So if you take that on the micro level here in the terrestrial, it's like, okay, yeah, we're probably not going to have the post office here in the next year. You know what I mean? That's probably not going to be running the same way. There might be a time here where street lights, the people that run those and all those things, it's not going to always work. And we're going to have to find ways of understanding, oh, are you going? No. All right, I'm going. Or, you know, or going back to some old ways of a traffic person. I know that might sound crazy, but we have to remember that these contractions, they get like the frequency bands more intense, and they get more intense with a more frequent element. Now, I think frequency and frequent is kind of interesting because it's all about how frequent is the frequency coming. Well, it's becoming more frequent. So it's like you're seeing solar flare activity, but that's just basic shit. And I know a lot of people are just kind of getting on this the last couple of years, but to be honest with you, that's pretty old. That's like 2013. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, there's solar flare. Oh, how does it affect the body? How does it affect? Okay, yeah, we know that. We've known that a long time. Especially, I have the receipts. You can just watch my YouTube, type in Leo King solar flares, and you'll see some videos about me back in the day in presentations and lectures. It's not that new. What's new is seeing that the whole universe and the multiverse is contracting. The frequencies are becoming more frequent. And so, as that's happening, it's like we're all a baby in an embryonic sac. And we're so used to being in this sac. We're so used to the umbilical cord that's feeding us. We're so used to the fluid, the embryonic fluid that's feeding us this reality the way that it is. And the truth is there some sort of outside entity that's about to pop the sac and let all the water out? And then us go through the craziness that we all had to go through, whether you were a C-section or whether you came out like, holy shit, having to take a breath out of that embryonic sac, okay? and you were birthed either through, what the hell is this knife coming through? Like me, I was a C-section. Like, what the fuck? Or you were like, oh, I guess I'm being pushed out of this thing. Literally pushed out. We're all pushed out. We are all being pushed into, though. It's not being pushed out, it's being pushed into a new reality. And that new reality, of course, so many people get it conflated with like this kind of like Star Trek idea, or they get it conflated with like this, I guess you could say this like, I don't know, religious doctrine of, oh, that's when the angels are going to show up here with wings and sit down in front of you and bring Santa Claus here. I think that we need to realize that it's a heightened moment to the extreme. There's nothing more extreme than birthing a child. There's also nothing more extreme than watching somebody pass away and then take their last breath. And it's weird. I was watching Joe Biden when he fell asleep in Maui, and the way that he was breathing reminded me of when I watched my little infant baby daughter Aurora when she's breathing, and we're like, is she breathing? You know, you're afraid when you're a parent of a child, right, when they're born, like, is it breathing? Is she breathing? The SIDS thing, you're freaked out. Good thing we didn't get any of that weird experiment shit from the aliens. And neither did she. So, you know, it's like, not worried too much. But it's weird because you see, as we come into this world, we have to learn how to breathe this new energy, and we're not even at that yet. We're at that birth canal, and we're at that place where there's all this energy from God and the higher dimensional frequencies that are all checking on the pulse of the contractions that are happening to birth us into a new way that the frequency levels are what happens on this planet. Whether that's how it's manifested, whether that's how it's experienced by all of us. If you take the sun is like a projector, like I've always said. The projector, if it's going to micronova and finally reject or release all that static electricity and all that electromagnetic energy that it collects from all of the planets and the cosmic rays that come in from the galaxies, to me, that's like hormones being released in a woman too, to help that process to birth us. So many people are so afraid. You know what you should be afraid of? There is another entity out there that continues to put out another message. It's climate change. Oh my God, be careful of this new thing. You must get our experiment, and then throwing all these crazy things. We already know when we see what's happening with the atrocities on the planet, they're using these things to scare you more because they already know you're going through the birth canal. So imagine how dark darkness is. The darkest of the dark. If you were having your wife pregnant in labor, imagine tormenting her and then tormenting the baby and scaring the baby in there before it was birthed. That's what's happening right now. So we need to take a lot more serious understanding that when you're calling somebody a conspiracy theory person and a conspiracy theorist, when they're really the person who's saying, stop tormenting this fucking woman and this child that's about to be going through an amazing, beautiful process. That's what you're doing when you start going into your mind and you're letting your mind run the show that's been taken over by frequencies you don't even realize. Your cell phone emits RF energy, okay? Radio frequencies. It's been proven forever. And if you use the planet Uranus, what was happening the last time it was here in Taurus? World War II. Using radar, using these new radio frequencies, sonar. Now we're at the next level. Now they have it to where they know where you're at all the time. They know what you're thinking. They know where things are going. Now, it's nothing to be afraid of if you're aware of it. I wear an Apple Watch. They know my heart rate. They said, I don't give a fuck. I'm not afraid of where any of my energy goes. You know why? Because I'm not allowing them to take my power from me. Take as many pictures as you want of me. A Leo struts down the carpet. and doesn't give its energy away. It gives its energy to inspire people, and it doesn't matter if it takes a picture and you take a picture of me and I look like this. I don't care. We all have to start taking this more seriously now that the fear energy that's going around is exactly that. If I put it into that perspective for you, as we are contracting and birthing into this new, not being pulled out, but being put in to a better world, a better frequency, a better universe, there are some really dark ass entity. And you know, we look for these like entities, sorry to say, they're gonna be weird. They're not gonna be what you would think is some like being that's sitting watching you. It's how they arrange their vibration and take over hosts, which would be a human being. So you're seeing non-stop people that just keep becoming rank and file, falling for it the same way that Nazis became, or just use Pink Floyd The Wall. Watch that movie. That's what you're doing. You're becoming pink. You're becoming to where you want to become to save your own emotional issues, dealing with your own emotional traumas. Because if we're going to be birthing in a universe, how was your birth? What happened with you in your birth? If you can't accept whatever happened with your family, whatever happened with your parents, whatever happened with your birth, whatever happened, accept it and see that it didn't matter how we got here. It's a bumpy ride for a lot of people, and some people it's not a bumpy ride. It doesn't matter because bumpy rides come to us no matter where we're at. Bumpy rides are going to come in the new universe, so all the new agers out there that are saying, well, the new universe will be so perfect. It's like, I hope it's not perfect. I hope it's not. You know why? Because then it would mean that it'd be pretty boring. And I feel like we have to remember that we all have to start helping each other. Yes, we need to unify as individuals, but when you start seeing things like Maui that don't make sense, when you start seeing the fires up in Canada that don't make sense, when you start seeing out of nowhere, oh, some people need some freaking money, so they want to throw another experiment in you and start to scare you again, that is a dark entity fucking with the mother. Some people want to look at the mother as our Gaia, but let's put that mother as God. And want to fuck with the new universe, the child that we all are coming together to be in this new universe, and they are tormenting that process. And so the big question is, are you going to step up and say no and own this with love and leadership and happiness and go live your life? Because it was proven by just becoming a father, that by being in a loving relationship with Sophia, by us talking to that child that we have before she came in, that birth process, Sophia fucking killed it. You know what I mean? And Aurora is so happy and beautiful, and she came into this world not afraid. Are we going to put ourselves into this new universe with trauma? I hope that this video helps people realize what's going on. It's going to be very difficult because with all the retrogrades here, it's going to feel like there's nothing to hold on to. But the irony is that we're here to receive, that everything that you need is around you. You know, it always kind of feels like what to do next. What am I going to do next? It's more like, what aren't you doing? What aren't you using? Like me here on this beach, like I'm so lucky I live 20 minutes away from this beach. So I'm using it. I'm receiving it. It's not like it was a big, hard thing to do, but it feels like it. Took me 3 days to get here. Oh yeah, we'll do it today. We'll do it today. We'll do it today. No, this came up. And then you just have to set that fucking intention inside. Like, no, we're fucking going. And it took something little like, let me put the battery on the charger. Let me put this on the charger. And then boom. That's all it takes. So I hope that helps because I'm doing a special right now. It's an hour and a half away. I'm going to go do Retrograde City, the world that we knew. So if you want to watch that, it's going to be a couple hour special video. It's on highvibe.tv. Make sure you're subscribed, because I now do it to where if you subscribe to the premium tier, you get access to all my paid videos and all my schools. Or you can just buy it individually and still be on our apps or website. Retrograde City, go to highvibe.tv, and please subscribe there if you want, where I talk about this stuff more in depth all the time with all my schools and so much more. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Also, I just appreciate everybody for the last couple of weeks of me being off air. It's good to be back. Definitely feel refreshed and definitely feel different by being a father. Much love to you all. Take care.
Monster.